Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? It's been a while now since I seen y'all here on the IG Lives, here over at Afros and Audio. My name is Latrice Sampson Richards. I'm the host of Unicorns Talk podcast and the lead virtual consultant for Afros and Audio Podcast Festival, as well as a producer for Vanguard Podcast Network. Ooh, girl, I do's a lot, okay? And welcome to Afros and Audio Creative Conversations here on IG Live. We are back like we never left. And we have a great guest today. Let's see. I want to invite Tiffany. I don't want to just... Tiff, is it giving you an option to request to join the video? Go ahead and hit that request button. Oh wait, is this what I need to do? Yeah. Okay, Tiff, it's saying that you're unable to join. I don't know, probably because you have your account private. You might have to turn your private off your account. I never saw that happen before. But you might have to switch or unblock your account in order for us to be able to bring you on live, because it's going to broadcast to everybody that you're live. So it's been a while since y'all seen my face. You know what I'm saying? The girl has been busy here lately, but busy in a great way. We are working on some beautiful things here at Afros and Audio, as well as Vanguard Podcast Network. Y'all know we have the festival is coming up in November. Speaker submissions are officially open for that. So if you have not already, go ahead and click the link in our bio so that you can, yes, book them busy. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit the link in our bio so that you can submit yourself, submit your session, your talk, your panel discussion, whatever it is that you want to share with our audiences. We are the first Black podcasting festival that ever existed, and we definitely know how to do it right. So you all want to make sure that you do that. Tickets are pre-sale tickets are available now. Once again, go to the link in our bio or whatever to get your tickets and things. What else we got going on? We have partnered with Run Movement organization to really highlight mental health in the Black community. You all may not know that July is BIPOC Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we, Run Movement reached out to us and said, hey, we would like to shine a light on this. We would like to be able to, bring mental health awareness to our communities. And we was like, yes, let's do that, right? Because you all probably know, I mean, if you don't know, I mean, you don't really know me yet. So hopefully you take some time to get to know me or whatever, right? But if you know me, then you know that I am a therapist by trade. I'm licensed in the states of Louisiana and the state of Florida. And I actually, this year is my 10th year, right? This is my 10th year therapist. And so I always jump at an opportunity to share mental health and mental wealth with our audiences. And so in our collaboration with Run Movement, we created a podcast episode for one of our upcoming shows with Vanguard Podcast Network called Stories All Around Us. And tonight we're joined by Tiffany Lawrence, who is actually my boss in real life, okay? Hands down, the best boss I ever had. And I'm not just saying that because she's here or whatever, you know. I tell her that all the time. But Tiffany Lawrence is a licensed marriage and family therapist. That's right. Y'all got two therapists on your screen right now. Two therapists on your screen. And guess what we're going to talk about tonight? We're going to talk about the use of podcasting in mental health. So last week, Talib met with Blake, and he talked about, how podcasting has helped him in his mental health journey. Tonight, Tiffany and I are going to have a little bit of a broader conversation around how podcasting can be used in mental health for better or for worse sometimes. So, Tiffany, welcome
Thank
to
you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
Thank you.
I am so excited to have you here, Tiff. I told you when we first started working together, I was like, girl, I'm going to get you on one of these live streams,
You did it. I'm here.
Yes, you are. You are here. So go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know, what you do, and let them know a little bit about your business, your company as well.
Yes. So my name is Tiffany Lawrence. As Latrice said, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I've been doing therapy for a little less than 10 years now. And most of my who have been involved in a juvenile justice system and their families. A lot of that has been my work, just youth in general. I enjoy doing that and working with young people. I do have a company that I co-own with a friend who I've known for many, many years, and that's called Unified Community Partners, LLC. And we focus on providing mental health services to people in need, and also to train providers or anyone in some supported employment and different evidence-based practices that we offer.
Yes, yes. And so, one of the things so we're not really going to talk tonight about our other job, right? So this is
I left that out.
Here, right? We're not even going to name them folks or whatever. We love y'all, but we ain't here for that tonight. But one of the things that I do want to talk about as it relates to the 9 to 5 is the use of podcasting. So one of the things when I got hired, you already knew that I was into podcasting and things, right?
Right.
Tiffany fully vetted me. From day one, she was all up in my podcast. She was all up in my live stream.
Stalking her, y'all.
Yes, all of my things. So by the time I got to the interview, she already knew what I was doing and what I was capable of. And she made it very clear from the very beginning that the podcasting aspect was something that she wanted us to find a way to work into the work that we do in the community. We work in mental health administration now, which is both a blessing and a curse, but I enjoy it. The blessing, though, is that we get to come up with new and creative ways to reach our audiences, right? And to help our community to find healing. So we started a little podcast with some of the youth that we work with. And that whole process really, I think, uncovered a realm of podcasting that I had an awareness of, but that I feel like it wasn't really like present for me in terms of just really how healing podcasting can be. We're doing the podcast clinic on the 24th after we do the screening for the episode. Tiffany is in the episode as well, so y'all need to come check it out. But the idea of the healing power of podcasting, it really started with me in the exploration of trying to figure out how do we incorporate podcasting into our 9 to 5, So talk to me a little bit about, for you, why was it important for you to find a creative outlet to get the message of mental health out there? And what was it specifically about podcasting that made you feel like that was the right avenue to go?
Yeah, so like I said, most of my work have been with young people, and throughout my job, I've found that they are very hesitant to attend traditional therapy. So, every time you offer therapy to them, it's them saying, do I have to go sit on the couch? Is somebody going to be messing with my head? And kind of putting on those comments that made me know that they were hesitant to try traditional therapy. But they were more likely to do it if they were in a group setting with other people who were like them. And so with that being said, podcasts, they started becoming more popular. You had Clubhouse and you had these different areas where many people were doing podcasts, and I thought, well, a lot of times these youth don't have a voice. People are speaking for them. Their parents are speaking for them. What if we put together a podcast where they can speak for themselves? And it's not traditional therapy. It's not even doing therapy, right? It's just allowing them to talk about their experiences that they've had with mental health. It was around the time of COVID too, where we couldn't be face to face. So that was different, and the red table talk had just come out, and that was a huge thing. And so I was like, hey, let's red table it a little bit, but let's put our own swag on it. And it was COVID, so we had to do it in a virtual setting. So we came up with a podcast. I thought that this would be a great way for people to express themselves, and let's give it a try.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I already love podcasting, I definitely caught the bug. But one of the things that I really, really love about podcasting is that it has the potential to connect people that might not think that there are people out there that they can connect to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, one of the hallmarks of mental illness is really pretty much across the board. It doesn't really matter what mental illness you have. Maybe outside of narcissism, and even that in some ways. But one of the hallmarks is that, you kind of feel like you're the only one. You kind of feel like the odd man out. You feel like nobody else is going to understand what you're dealing with. Nobody else is going to understand your point of view or your perspective. And, it can be a very traumatic experience for a lot of people growing up in those kinds of environments and things like that, right? And so what podcasting does is it opens the door to introduce you to your people. It opens the door to introduce you or to introduce you to your audience and say, hey, me too. Like, it's not just you, it's me too. I like this weird shit over here. I enjoy doing that, that weird shit over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I'm a nerd and I'm happy about it, or I'm this and I'm happy about it. And I think that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing, because it's a great connector, it's a great connector. Talk a little bit about why it's so important for people to find their people.
Well, one of the trends in mental health right now are something called peer specialists, and these are people with lived experience. I know for myself, if I can find someone who has been through my similar experience, I feel like they have a little bit more credit. I feel like, hey, they actually know what I've been through, even though they haven't walked in my shoes exactly. They have some kind of experience that relates to what I'm going through. And so if I'm able to identify and find these people, maybe they can help me, or even if they can't help me, maybe they truly understand what it is that I'm feeling. And I think that's what the connection of podcast does, is I don't even have to talk to you. I could be in the audience listening to the podcast. I don't have to say anything, but I can be healed from this person who's telling a story that is similar to mine. It might mirror mine, and I might not be the one who the spotlight is on, but that person is speaking for me without me even having to do it. I think that's what makes finding people with stories similar to yours, experiences to, yours, can be so helpful. And that's what you do with podcasts.
Yeah. And I absolutely love it. The other thing about podcasting that has been like just a great, great joy to me personally is like that creative journey. I've always been a creative person my whole life, girl. Growing up in my bedroom in my parents' house. My parents live in the same house. I had a lot of stability growing up. And I'm grateful for that. My parents still live in the same house that I came home from the hospital to, right? And so in my bedroom, in the closet at my parents' house, there's it's like the sliding door, but it's like just a blank white canvas. And I went and bought some paints and stuff at Walmart, girl, and I drew a little mural on the closet door that's still there to this day. My parents never painted over it, but I never finished it. I have so many projects growing up in my life that I start and then I never really finish.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of the reason I used to be hard on myself because I felt like I wasn't finishing those things because, oh, like, you know, you're lazy, or, you know, you don't have follow through, or you don't have willpower, as they call it, or whatever it might be. But what I now realize is that I didn't feel truly comfortable in my creative expression. Like, you know, I felt like it was weird to a certain extent because I wasn't really surrounded by people who created for a living. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so, you know, Blake touched on this a little bit last week, but, you know, finding the, like, podcasting has helped me to connect to a part of myself that I never really was able to connect to before, and to connect to it unapologetically. And it feels really, really good. And I want to talk a little bit about, you know, how the freedom to be your true authentic self, how does that heal? You know, what is it about that aids in the healing process?
Yeah. I think it's like if we look at a caged bird, and that bird is stuck in a cage every day. But there's a world out there that's so big. And once you're able to get out of that cage and flap your wings and fly off, you feel free. And I think that's what expressing yourself is like. It's when you're, you know, I used to write poetry, a lot of poetry back in the day. I have books that I find, and there's poems and raps and songs and all types of stuff. It's, you know, that was my thing, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody knew that. But when I was able to express it, and they listened to my poetry, and they liked my poetry and said you should write more, it gave me a sense of confidence to do it. But then I was like, okay, so they know me. This is me. I'm the poet. I'm the person that's stuck in my room, and I like to read books, and I can read multiple, and I don't even want to talk to anybody. That was me. I'm an introvert. I might talk to you, maybe call me, maybe, right? But once you're able to claim that and say, this is who I am, it's so freeing. Like, I don't have to pretend to be what I'm not. And that could be so tiring. That could, you know, socially, it could be tiring. So when you're able to really express yourself, I feel like it frees you from pretending to be what you're not. It gives you a voice that you might be ashamed to show other people.
Yeah. And it also, I think it also lends itself to deeper relationships and deeper connections because you know that this person, these people know who you are,
Yeah.
you know, because you let them see a side of you that, you know, maybe the rest of the world or the general public don't ever really get to see. And, you know, so it leads to deeper, more meaningful connections with
Right.
people, because they get to see you in your fullness. And, you know, I think the same thing exists with podcasting, you know, like in the music industry for years and years. And did you watch the Mary J. Blige documentary?
I did not. I did not.
Oh,
I know.
okay, so it's good. I watched it the night it came out, girl. I didn't even know I was gonna be watching it, to be honest. I was just flipping through the stuff. But you know, Mary said something in that documentary. She said two things. So one thing she said was about her connection to her fans, you know, and she was saying how the My Life album, because of where she was in her life at that time and what she was going through in her life, she was with Casey, and we all know how that.
We know that, yeah.
Yeah. And she was just, you know, in a really difficult space where she didn't really love herself. She didn't really know herself. She said at one point, the second thing she said was, I didn't know I was me back then. I was still me, but I didn't know that I was me.
That's powerful.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I wasn't showing that me to the world because I didn't even know that she was in there, you know? And so she talked about how that album was the process of her really getting to know herself and connecting with herself. And that's why her bond with her fans
is so, so strong because it was the first time that she really showed herself. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And they said, girl, we got you, girl. Me too, sis. I get it. And in podcasting, I think it's the same thing, you know? When you get behind the microphone and you don't have to wear no makeup, you don't have to comb your hair, you don't have to put on airs, you don't even have to speak a certain kind of way. You don't have to look a certain kind of way. You just have to talk. You know, you just have to talk. You talk about what you're learning. You talk about what you know. You talk about what you don't know. You talk about what you saw, what you heard. You know, whatever you want to talk
Right,
about,
right.
you have an opportunity to just be your real, raw, authentic self, whatever that looks like. And when on the other end of that, you have a group of people, our audience, that's saying, I love that. I appreciate that. I receive that. I hear that. Girl, I feel that. Girl, yes, girl. Whereas the people in your day-to-day life might not be as supportive. The people in your day-to-day life might not be as understanding, you know, about who you are.
Right.
But podcasting allows for you to kind of take all the pretense away and just be yourself and make those connections, those deep, meaningful connections with people just being who you are. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, podcasting is still a super, super young industry, right? Oh, he said my audio is going in and out. Okay. I don't know how to fix that because I ain't really doing nothing. So,
Yeah, it's going low and then it'll pop back up.
is that better?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah? Okay. Let me know if it does that again. I don't know what's going on with that. Um, so anyway, podcasting is still a super young industry, right? So we're still figuring out what that is going to look like, what it is shaping out to be, and what that's going to look like down the road. After the audio is doing our part in making sure that Black voices is doing it again. I don't know why it's doing it, child. I have no obstructions here. Um, we're doing our part to make sure that you know, Black voices are heard, Black faces and voices are seen, and that we are doing what we need to do to create a platform or to create a table for us, right? In your opinion, what are some of the things that need to be at the top of the list in terms of the community-wide conversations around specifically mental health?
Say that again. I'm sorry. You cut out.
Oh,
Now I hear you good right there.
is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get my headphones too after I ask you this question. What is it that you believe in the Black community needs to be at the top of the list in terms of conversations that we need to have around mental health?
Ooh, I could give you a lot. The first thing is recognizing and accepting that mental health needs are important. So I feel like we talk about physical health and we support physical ailments, but when it comes to your mental health, and I know it's because we had to be so strong. We have to be strong in our workplaces, in our relationships, just out and about. We have to be strong. But it's okay for us to take a step back and say, right now I'm not feeling okay. Right now I need to go talk to a professional, not my friend, because maybe I don't feel comfortable. Mental health, it's okay to take care of your mental health. I think that's the first step, is that I think now we're starting to realize and accept that more, but it's still not where it needs to be with that. A lot of times you're weak, whatever labels we want to place on each other when we do decide to take care of our mental health, that deters people from actually wanting to do it. And so that's number one. I
Yeah.
think a lot of trauma we experience from other people, but also within our families, and we sweep that under the rug. That needs
Mhm.
to be talked about, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's substance use that occurred in the home, domestic
Mhm.
violence, those things that we feel like, oh, they need to stay within the family, or they need to stay within the house. That can lead to a lot of distress. That can be an onset of mental illness, and if it's not addressed. So I think those are some of the top things that I feel like needs to be talked about and handled in terms of mental health with Black people.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Is that better? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you 100%. I see Kim is in the chat as well, agreeing and saying that, she's been there before, and when she needed the help, she got the help. But it can be very difficult to have these kind of conversations around mental health, especially in our community. And I think one of the things, like my little pet peeve, girl, because girl, I'm lightweight a counseling snob on the cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I consider myself to be a really good therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am damn good at my job. You might find somebody that know more techniques. You might find somebody that can give you the names and that can, spit out the jargon and all of that. You might find somebody that can string the sentence together in a little bit more intelligent kind of way, but you're not going to find somebody that's better than me. You know what I'm saying? And I wholeheartedly believe that. Okay. I am a
Yes.
damn good therapist.
Yes, man.
Um, but I also recognize that sometimes, I be setting the bar real, real high, because that's where I set the bar for myself
Right.
when I'm working with my clients. And so in the podcasting space, I have brought that same kind of mentality over here, especially because my podcast, Unicorns Talk Podcast, is about mental health, right? It's what I love and what I'm passionate about and what I'm really, really good at, combining with what I enjoy doing, which
Right.
is creating.
Right.
And so I bring that over into that space as well. And one of my biggest pet peeves is that, you have some people, because podcasting is such a free and open space, and it has so many positive things associated with it, but there's some negative things too, because it's some people that just get on the mic and say whatever the fuck they want to say. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's bad information, misinformation, an exaggeration of facts, whatever it might be, but they are spewing out this information and people take it as fact. When we was on Clubhouse, when Clubhouse first started, I don't really do Clubhouse that much anymore, to be honest. But and one of the reasons that I stopped doing Clubhouse so much is because it's so many fake prophets on Clubhouse, right? And I noticed all these people introducing themselves as a mental health advocate. And as a mental health professional, I know what the difference between a mental health professional and a mental health advocate is. But I realized, really, like, in your face, in a very in your face kind of way, that the general public does not know the difference.
Right.
They don't understand the difference. So somebody gets up there calling themselves a mental health advocate, and they giving horrible information, horrible advice, and people are just soaking it up because they are so. I am going to use the word desperate, because I think that for some people it is a desperate
Mm-hmm.
need for healing. Um, Talk a little bit about the importance of kind of vetting your sources and making sure that you at least ask Google before you start doing that shit in your real life. Do a
I
little
hear
bit
you.
of research.
And I'm
Yes.
gonna be 100% real with you. I have always been skeptical of self-help, not because they don't work, but because people take it as this is fact and I can't do it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So people might ask me, you know, I have a toddler, right? She's 3. She went to the store right now, so she might make an appearance. But
That's my
you know,
little
they'll ask
buddy.
me, how should I do X, Y, and Z? And I can tell you how I did it, but don't take that for how you have to do it. And I
Yeah.
think many people who do podcasts and who write self-help and who say I'm a mental health advocate are promoting the information as if this is the way it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
We can all know, I'm not going to say his name. There's a gentleman out there with a podcast, I guess that's what he's calling it, and he has women call in, and he gives them advice on why they aren't with this and this and that. And you see people in the comments, some people are skeptical, and others are taking it as that is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the danger of just listening to anybody. You need to get on Google, although people don't. Get on Google and do some research and look at your sources and look at which article, where did this come from, who says this, is this right, whether it's the pastor. I'm going to say that because some people don't like that. But if they in the pulpit saying something that doesn't sound right, just because your name pastor doesn't mean it's correct, right?
Sure don't.
So if I'm holding the pastor to that level of this and that, I'm holding everybody to that level. Even if you are a mental health professional. We've been in rooms, me and you, and we've heard some things, and we'll text each other like, hold on. Did you hear what I heard? Did we hear that? So if, you know, I am 100% with you on, I vet every source, and before I even talk on the topic, Latrice will know. I'm like, Latrice, what's the topic? Because I need to make sure that I'm prepared and I'm giving the accurate information. I don't want to misinform people. And I agree with you. Many podcasts, some self-help books, all of those things are not, it's not written in stone. It's not the way it has to be. But some people do take it as that, and they find themselves in a tough spot because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like one of the when it comes to mental health, I think one of the most difficult and traumatizing experiences that a person can have is when you finally build up the courage to seek out help, right? Because that is a feat in and of itself. Yeah. To admit that, you know, that you're not managing things well, to acknowledge that, you know, you need some help trying to figure out this situation or this problem or this feeling or this experience or whatever it might be, right? This relationship, right. Whatever it might be, acknowledging that I need to, you know, consult a third party, or I need to get some information. This is not something that I'm equipped to deal with. And then when I finally build up the courage to do that, and I land on this mental health advocate who is telling you what worked for them when their baby daddy cheated on them and did this, that, and the other. And girl, what you need to do is this, this, and this. And that's what I did. And now I'm a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, girl, how we got from there to there, girl? I don't understand. I'm confused.
Take my course.
You know what I'm saying? Listen. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
you see what I'm saying? And so I'm pouring this money and I'm investing in it because they're saying you have to be willing to invest in yourself. If you're not willing to invest in yourself, then you're not really serious about your change. And you're like, well, damn, you know, I want to, you know, fix this shit. I want to be better. I'm going to pay them this $1,500. I'm going to pay them this $2,000, $3,000, $10,000 fucking dollars for them to tell me some bullshit, but I don't know it's bullshit.
Right.
To me, it's Bible because I am desperate for the healing, right? And you dangling the healing in front of me and saying all you got to do is. So I take that information and I start trying to use that information, and it does not apply to my life. It does not fit my circumstance. It does not fit my situation. Or it makes my shit worse than what it was before. And so I am less likely, because of human nature, I am less likely to say
well, that person was full of shit. I am more likely to say, see, that's why I don't be trying to do like talk to nobody about what I got going on.
Yep.
That's why you can't trust
Yep.
people. That's why I just need to figure this out on my own. And people
Yep.
don't know what they be talking about and this, that, and the other. And now I'm less likely to get help because that was a traumatic experience. I
Right.
opened myself up and I got taken advantage of, which is the exact thing that I was afraid of happening. Right.
Right.
So it bothers me so much when I see, things like that. But I think that's why people tend to gravitate toward me, because I make it very, very clear. I try to use plain language, and I try to talk to people in a way that they understand what is being said. In the podcast episode, the special episode that we did with Run Movement, which we are going to do a virtual listening party for on the 24th of this month. So in that's 2 weeks. That's not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Okay. Um, huh? I can't hear you. Uh-oh. We lost your volume. Yeah. If somebody was trying to call you, you might have to exit out and come back in. So in the episode, um, of Stories All Around Us, Mental Health Matters, Tiffany talks about her journey into how her conversation with her dad, that threw me off, y'all. I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm back. I'm back. How a conversation with her father really helped her to be able to do her job and do her job well. And, one of the things that um, I think is important is what her father was telling her is that you can't let these people see you sweat, right? So you can't let these people see you sweat. You can't let these people see you being, scared or not confident in yourself and in your abilities. And you have to bring your full self to the table. And so one of the things that I appreciate about the idea of that, about the whole process of that, specifically as it relates to podcasting, is that there's a lot of things that you might try to do that make you scared. There's a lot of things that you might try to accomplish or that you might want to accomplish that make you fearful. There we go. Tiff is coming back. There you go. So Tiff, I was telling them about your story for the Mental Health Matters episode of Stories
Yes.
All Around Us, and how you were saying that your father told you the piece of wisdom that you kind of took into your career is never let them see you sweat. And so I love that lesson. I think it's a beautiful life lesson, but it can sometimes also have some downfalls, right? When it comes to podcasting, the idea of never let them see you sweat, I think it has a different type of meaning in this space, because, some of my favorite podcasts are the ones that are a little rough around the edges. I think for a lot of podcasters or aspiring podcasters, they never really pick up the microphone because they're so afraid that everything has to be perfect, right? And you talked about that being one of the downsides of that is, not giving yourself grace, not allowing yourself to be able to make mistakes, not allowing yourself to be able to figure that shit out. And so, how, you know, how can we kind of find balance between those two sides of the thing, right? Like, how do you find balance between being confident and not giving someone the space or the room to tear you down or make you feel or second guess yourself, while also
being very, very intentional about not putting so much on yourself that you don't give yourself room to just be human.
Yeah, great question, and it's something that I struggle with to this day. Is how to find that balance, and I have to catch myself when I'm. It's kind of like a perfection mindset, and I have to catch myself and say, I'm just going to do the best that I can, and if that's not good enough for X, Y, Z, oh well. I can't sit here and work myself to death. I can't sit here and try to put on an image again, pretending to be something that I'm not. I'm not perfect, and live my life in a way that's valuable to me.
Yeah.
So, it's always having to try to check yourself and catch yourself in those moments to where I'm saying, oh, this has to be right. And I might be up at 3 a.m. trying to get it right. What am I doing? Why am I overworking myself? Why am I trying to be perfect? Because I want this right. So when I come to approach this person, they don't see me sweat. Or I need to rehearse this and make this perfect so that, people can feel like I'm educated or I know what I need to do. I did research on something called self-presentation. And it's really like an identity. You want to put on this identity in front of a group of people, and it could be a different identity depending on who you're in front of. So at work, I want to put on an identity of being knowledgeable. Around my friends, I might want to put on an identity of being fun. It doesn't mean that I'm being inauthentic, but I might switch within these identities, and some of them might not be really who I am. The people at my job may never know the fun part of me. They might never know I like to joke. I like to rank all day. I'm a fun person. I laugh at myself if I fall. I'm really, I'm that type of person. Clumsy. At work, you might not know that because I'm trying to put on this identity of being the knowledgeable one. I'm the boss. I gotta know what I'm doing, right? But do I always know what I'm doing? No. So I feel like sometimes I have to catch myself. Sometimes someone might remind me, like, it's all right. It's okay. And that kind of brings me back to I need to find that balance. And I don't want to pass that on to my child. I don't want my child to feel like you can never sweat, you can never cry, you can never show your emotions, because that's not human. That's not realistic, and it's not going to land you in a good place. That's when you're not going to therapy, because I don't want anyone to know that I'm weak, or I don't want anyone to know that I'm struggling. That's you crying in the shower, which is fine, because that might be the best place to cry. But it's like no one knows that I'm even experiencing this pain, and I'm holding it in. And it's something that I like to do with young kids who I work with. Is we blow up a balloon. And I say, when you hold your emotions in and you hold this in and you're trying to be perfect or whatever it is that they're holding in, we blow the balloon up. And if we keep blowing it up and we keep holding that in, eventually it's going to pop. Eventually it's going to explode. Eventually it's not going to turn out well. So if you continue to do that, if you continue to hold things in, try to be perfect, not be human, you're gonna lose it at some point.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to remember for myself. It's hard. I don't always, do what I should do, but that's something I would say is, that's something I have to consciously think about each day.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think when it comes to Talib says all the time, just do the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do it. Like, create it. When we do like consultation work for people who are trying to get their podcast off the ground, or when we do production work for people who need some help getting their podcast off the ground, like, they always have 50 million questions about, well, what's the best way to do this, or should I do this, or should I do that, or what about this and what about that? And it's all, like, I guess what we would consider cosmetic, like it's all cosmetic. And the answer that we almost always give is, this is yours. This is your shit. This is your thing. You can make this whatever you want or need this to be. right? And that's from top to bottom. That's from the imagery and the messaging and the purpose or the point of the show. You get complete say so over what that is, right? So you can really craft something that sits right with your soul. You know, when it comes to the frequency, how often do I release podcast episodes? How often you want to release them? What works for you? Right? What is it that works for you? Well, how long should the episodes be? Should I use music? Should I have guests? Should I do whatever it is that you want to do is what you can do. And I think we're not accustomed to having that level of freedom.
We are not. I was thinking that people don't like when something's not structured, when they don't have specific directions on how to do it. It's uncomfortable. We've always been told what to do. I've always been told what to wear and what time to show up and how to do this and that. I remember working with a colleague, and she was going to learn public speaking. And I'm not going to mention where she went, but she was practicing. They had her practicing, and I was thinking, she's actually worse. She's worse. They didn't make her better. But it wasn't because she didn't know how to speak. It was because she was trying to speak in a way that it wasn't natural to her. And I told her, listen, forget all of that. Forget all of who thinks that you're not speaking eloquent or whatever. Do they get the message?
Yeah.
Can you say the message? Do they understand what you're saying? Be yourself. But it's like I have to, again, it goes back to I see people with podcasts and they are talking like this and they wear this and they do this. But is that natural for you?
Right.
And that's one of the things that set you apart from when I was looking at people. I got other, resumes for that position that you have now. But when I came on your page, I said, whoop, for one, you drew me in because you're just amazing at what you do. But two is that you seem very natural. It didn't seem like you were putting on a show. It just seemed like genuinely I can connect with this person. And not being a podcast host is not for everybody, right? It's not for everybody. You can do it, but it might not be your gift. It might not be. And a lot of people who are out there with podcasts, it's not really your gift. Hang it up. Do something else. You creative in something else. I'm gonna be real.
That ain't your thing, boo.
Just when you, like you said, when you don't have clear guidelines, when you're trying to be something that you're not, it's a lot more work than just being yourself.
Absolutely. Because you got to remember the person you crafted. You know what I'm saying? That's way too much. I am not her, girl. I am not her. I don't have time for her.
Yes.
I'm not interested in her. So you need to go on and say, pour one out for the homie, sis, because she ain't never coming back. So Tiffany, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I tell you all the time, but I really, really want you to know it and understand it that, I'm so grateful that you entered my life when you did. Like, I am 100% confident that this was preordained. Like, this was supposed to be a part of, I think, both of our journeys, and I am just so very, very grateful because even though my creative journey started before I met you, about 2 or 3 years before I met you, it was not until I was able to settle down in this space and be here in Broward that I could really sit in it. You know what I'm saying? Really be able to sit in it, and having someone in my other world, my professional world, because my shit was always it was a whole other world. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't telling my coworkers nothing about what I was doing, and so having someone in my professional world that, really saw value in what I was doing and what I was bringing to the table, and really seeing that vision in terms of you know, what the connecting of those two worlds might look like, that has been, you know, really beautiful. And you have been so supportive of me, you know, from the very beginning, at work and outside of work. And I love you, girl. I love you.
Thank you. I
You
love you
stuck with me,
too.
girl. You stuck with me forever. Forever. You ain't never ever gonna get rid of me. So I'm just go on and, you know, process that for yourself,
I'm
okay?
processing it. I'm receiving it.
Yes. Go ahead and tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they want to work with you, if they have questions for you or anything like that. Go on and let them know how they can make that happen.
You can reach out to me at tlawrence@unifiedcommunitypartners.org. I'm willing to help. We offer trainings, like I said, any kind of consultation that you might need in terms of how to put together a mental health program. Even if you're going through something, we offer counseling services. We offer life coaching services. I have many, many years of the developing and designing programs for youth and young adults. So you can also reach us at www.unifiedcommunitypartners.org. And we have different things on our website. You can contact us through that. I really appreciate you, Latrice, inviting me on here. Like I'll say, you are a superstar. I will always tell you that. Even if you tried to disappear, I started off stalking you. I'm in stalking you, okay?
Yes,
I
yes. Well,
appreciate
that's
you
all
so
right, because
much.
my little boo, I appreciate you too, girl. And you know, my little boo, Malia, she ain't finna let me go nowhere no time
You
soon.
heard?
So
No.
yes, I'm excited about, you know, the future and where everything is going and you know, unified consulting. Hallelujah.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
we gonna make that happen as well. So y'all make sure that you follow Tiffany here on Instagram at Simply Tiffany. You can just click the little, you know, her name up in the top, or you can go to any of our posts. I think we have 2 posts with Tiffany, and we're gonna tag her in those as well. Don't forget the early bird tickets for the Afros and Audio, the 3rd annual. This is the 3rd year, y'all. The Afros and Audio Virtual Podcast Festival are available. Go ahead and click the link in our bio to get your tickets now. We got a good old sale going on. Y'all need to go on and jump on this
Yeah.
sale because you know you going. You know you're not gonna miss the festival. So you may as well get that little discount. I don't be trying to pay full price for nothing. I don't know about y'all, but I don't be trying to pay full price for nothing. So make sure that y'all get those tickets. Also, registration is open for the screening of the Stories All Around Us Mental Health Matters special episode in partnership with Run Movement. The screening is free, but you do have to register, okay? The screening is free, but you do have to register. So make sure that you click the link in our bio to register for that as well. And speaker submissions are open for the festival as well. So if you have something to say to the people, if you got something you want to teach to the people, go ahead and sign up to be a speaker at the Afros and Audio Virtual Podcast Festival. That's all we got for y'all today. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying with us. We love y'all and we appreciate y'all. And we'll be back next week with Kim Hicks, who is the founder of Run Movement. And she's going to talk about why she decided to do all of this in the first place. All right. So that's going to be a great conversation. We love y'all and we appreciate y'all. And until next time, be well. Bye, y'all.